glad you're here tonight. It's Christmas Eve. Are you excited? Oh my goodness, my name is Jonathan. I got to tell you, I love Christmas time. I love this season, and really, it's a celebration tonight. And so there's different elements, different fun. At the end, we're gonna have a party, and I think Christmas is worth celebrating every single day in December, and that's kind of what we've been doing around here all this month. Is we've been having Christmas every day. We've been saying, what if we lived out kindness every day and radical generosity every single day? And we just thought, let's do that. Let's live out Christmas every day. In fact, it all started a few years ago when a New Lifer kind of brought that idea to us and said, what if we met needs in this community every single day in December? And so a website called outrageouschristmas.com was launched, and in that first couple of years, over 500 needs were posted on that website, and 500 needs were met in the first few years. This year on December 1st, when the website went live, 731 people posted a need. I mean, you could say that we live in a community where there are great needs, and it's incredible to see how God has been working through people, us, His church, to be a part of meeting those needs. And so far, 116 of them have been completely met. Check the box. Those are done. Another 200 are still in process, meaning people are gathering things to meet those needs. Here would be my encouragement to you. What if you, your family, your coworkers, whoever it might be, you go to outrageouschristmas.com, you check out one of the needs on there, and you see if you yourself can meet one of the needs. In fact, I heard a story this week. Someone emailed me. They said, I responded to a need on there. It was for 2 young children that had needs, two really little kids. And so I went to the store, got all the stuff. Said I drove to the house, and a 14-year-old answered the door. It turned out the 14-year-old had posted the need on behalf of her younger siblings and had been doing all of the email communication, but didn't ask for anything for herself. And so the person delivering the gift said, well, what do you want? I don't need anything. No, really, what could I get you? She says, well, I'd love a fleece blanket with cats on it. It's just something so simple. And that person driving away, they said they drove away with tears in their eyes because of the selflessness of this 14-year-old. See, it's just that. Acts of kindness and acts of generosity actually change us. Because it's not just a person having the need met, it's also us being a part of that incredible act of being generous. And so I was just thinking, what if this happened all around the year? Well, guess what? That's kind of what this church is all about. We actually believe that God wants to heal this world through His followers, the church. That we need to live out Christmas every single day and respond to needs as people come in our path, that we live generous lives. I mean, you ever wonder, why do we give gifts at Christmas? Well, it's because God did it. For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son. The wise men, we just heard the story, they gave gifts. It's why we give gifts. It's why this season is so special. And so as a church, we are always dreaming and we're always thinking, what is it that we can do? What can we rally people together to do to meet needs in this community? And often where we look is the people that seem to get marginalized in our society. They kind of get pushed to the sides. And one of those groups is actually those with special needs. And this February, I want to tell you about something that's coming up. This February, we have an event. It's called Night to Shine. And really what it is, it's a senior prom for all those in our community that perhaps missed senior prom in high school because of their special needs. We thought they should have their own senior prom. They should get to go every single year. And so on February 9th, the event's coming up. I want to let you know about it. But first, I want you to take a look at a video of what took place this last year at Night to Shine. Take a look at this video. Is that cool or what? Come on, what a special night. What an amazing night it is for all of those. And here's one of the things we do. As you can see, we roll out the red carpet for them. And really, every one of them gets to be king and queen for the night. And it's pretty special. And so I just want to, real quick, I want you to pull out this connection card that's in your program. I'm going to use this a couple of times tonight. I know you've already filled it out. I got my name on mine, Jonathan. You know, I know you get this filled out. Ryan said every guest tonight, we're going to make a donation on your behalf to Kids Up Rescue Mission. But on the back, down at the bottom, is some ways for you to be involved. Last year, 368 guests were treated with royal treatment. 300 of their caregivers were also provided with a VIP place where they could just relax for the evening, knowing that their loved ones, the ones they care for, were having a great night. It took over 650 volunteers just to make this event happen. And so in other words, there's a place for you to be involved. So you'll notice on the back of the card there, you can get involved in Night to Shine. You can say, I know a guest. Maybe you know someone that this would be a great event for them to be able to be a part of. We'd love to know your contact so we can get them the information. You can get them the information to invite them to that. You can volunteer for the event. You can serve in special needs more regularly. And also, if you want to be part of a business, your business wanted to sponsor or perhaps be a donor to the event, you can also do that with that connection card there. You can say that this is an outrageous event, and you're like, but it's Christmas. Exactly. It's Christmas every single day. We get to live out outrageous moments, outrageous lives, and we just say, God, would you do great things through us? Well, hey, I was thinking tonight, being that it is Christmas Eve, it's kind of a special night. I don't know if you guys are into gifts. You into gifts? Yeah, my kids, they're already like snooping under the tree. We do a code system. Do you have a code system? No names on the gifts. It's just all codes. Tonight they discovered what the code is. They cracked it. So I'm nervous right now as I'm here. I don't know where they are. They're probably under the tree right now, aren't they? Looking for stuff, but hey, actually I see one right there. She's safe. Okay, so here's the deal, is I just thought in our gathering, why not give a gift to someone? Why not bless someone? Tonight, it's just kind of become like part of our culture here at New Life, is we just love during the month of December, is we're listening to people's stories, we're hearing what people are doing, and we're like, you need to be celebrated. Because you represent a whole group of people in our community that need to be celebrated as well. And you kind of wonder like, well, how does a church fund things? How do they pay for stuff? I'll tell you how we do it. It's through us. Like we all do this, and that's why there's a red envelope in your program tonight, is all this month as a church, we've been having these red envelopes, and here's what we've been doing. We've been looking at all of 2017, and we've been looking, wow, God, you have blessed us this year, and as we approach, this is a new tradition for us, as we approach the end of the year, we want to take what you blessed us with, and we want to, God, we're going to give you a portion of it, and we're going to say, would you bless someone else with this? And that's what we've been using these red envelopes for all this month, is we've had some outrageous moments in every single one of our gatherings this month. And so tonight we're gonna bless a family through your generosity. And so here's what the deal is. Let me give you the backstory, okay? There's a family in our community, and they love each other very much, and they have no greater desire than to start a family of their own. Some of you have been down this journey. And you want a family, you start planning for it, you start thinking, we've been married for 20 years now, we should have a family. No, just kidding. You just start thinking, you just know it's time to have a family. Well, it just wasn't happening. And you know, it's interesting, some of us, we've walked down that road, haven't you? You've walked down that road where you're trying to figure out like how we're not having kids, what's going on here. And I just want to let you know that God has a plan. In this family, they opened up their heart, and they actually saw God step in and provide a family in a different way. And that was this, that they opened up their hearts to become foster parents, and they took in 2 young kids that they're in the process of adopting right now. See, God just had a way of them starting a family in a different way. And so tonight, we want to bless and we want to honor Josh and Lauren Goss. They're sitting right up here. We want to bless you guys tonight. You guys have stepped out. You've been courageous. We want to say thank you. You guys have given so much, and really you've shown us what God's heart looks like, because he adopted us into his family. And we just think what you guys are doing in this community is absolutely amazing. Lauren, I know tonight you were planning on being upstairs, serving with the kids. We had to do some finagling to get her in here because she was supposed to be, and then she was serving because that's her heart. We're so glad you guys are here. So here's what's in the bag, is we've given you a date night out, okay? So there's like dinner, movie, and Lauren, you deserve like a mani-pedi. Josh, if you want to go too, just let me know. We'll get another card, okay? If you want to go too, you might be into that. Also, here's another thing we're doing. Let me get the name right. Is New Life's going to make a large donation on your behalf to Community and Family Services Foundation, the amazing organization that you guys are working with right now. We just think they're doing an amazing thing in our community, and so we're going to send a donation on your behalf. Can we give Josh and Lauren a hand? Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. I love this. It's my favorite time of the year. And you know what? All through the year, there's been many partners like Community Family Resources that we have partnered with. And some of them wanted to say something to you tonight to say thank you. Take a look at this video.
Hi, New Life. Merry Christmas from all your friends at Rescue Freedom.
And it's so great to be partnering with you to rescue and restore those that are caught in sexual slavery around the world. Freedom February is an incredible event that does so much good in the world. Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
It's that rescue mission. I'd like to wish you a very
Merry Christmas!
and blessed holiday season.
Merry Christmas, New Life! Merry Christmas, New Life!
Hi, New Life. This is Capstone from Hyderabad, India. I want to say a very, very, very Merry Christmas! Life and West.
Merry Christmas from all the press. Thank you, New Life, for all that you've done for our kids and foster families this Christmas. Yay. We love you.
We want to wish you a Merry Christmas. From the Mission House family to your family, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year! Whoa!
Oh my goodness, I love those guys. The Mission House is awesome. Hey, you're getting to see why Christmas is one of my favorite times of the year. And so we're going to dive into the message now. And honestly, the Christmas story fascinates me. And I've always kind of wondered, what would happen if Jesus would have shown up in 2017 instead of 2,000 some years ago? Like, what would it be different? And wouldn't you know that actually Google has an answer for that? In fact, I found it. It's called the hipster nativity scene. Let's take a look at this here. Okay, zoom in on the animals here. What do we got going on here? Oh yeah, of course, the animals would be 100% organic, grass-fed, wouldn't they? Okay, what's Mary and Joseph doing? Taking a selfie. Some of you are like, is this okay? Yeah, I'm the pastor, it's fine, okay? All right, what about the wise men? What are they doing? Oh, the wise men, they're on their Segways, their gifts from Amazon. Okay, how many of you say in the room that like, my Christmas is brought to you by Amazon? Thank God for 2-day shipping. It just saves everything. You know, the story of the wise men, okay, not that one, but the one in the Bible, has always fascinated me. Because we don't know a ton about the wise men. We don't really know exactly where they're from. We don't know exactly how many of there are. We just sing songs like We Three Kings. We just kind of make up stuff, fill in the blanks, and come on. But we do know this. The scriptures teach us this, that they literally saw a star and they followed it. They saw a star and they followed it. Stars are fascinating. Let me tell you a quick story. This last summer, a few of us dads, we took our sons on like a hiking, backpacking trip, which kind of meant like my son and I took everything in our house, put it in 2 large backpacks that were really heavy, and then hiked uphill for like hours. You see, I didn't go backpacking or camping as a kid because my parents loved me. Like, honestly, I don't get why we do this activity ever. I don't get it. People are like, well, we just love to sleep outside. I'm like, but there's bears, they'll eat you. Oh, there's no bears. But then why is my food up in the tree right there? Oh, that's so the bears don't get it. Well, shouldn't I? Oh, your tent, it'll protect you. Put the food in the tent. I just don't understand. But honestly, we're with all these middle school boys. We get to our campsite, we're hanging out, and then they're like, hey, let's climb up even higher because we haven't climbed enough today. And so we get all attacked. And wouldn't you believe it, is the boys' favorite part of the whole trip was peeing off the mountain. In fact, I have a picture here. Oh, just kidding. What did you think I was going to show you? You thought I was going to show you something else? No, but there was a night on this trip where we just, we went down to the shore of this beautiful lake we were camping by, and it was pitch black at night, and we just laid on the shore, and we just stared up at the stars. You see, we were miles from any town, city, houses, street light. There was no ambient light. It was just dark, like so dark, like you couldn't even see your hand in front of your face. It was that dark, but the stars were so bright, and there were so many of them. We laid there for an hour just gazing at the stars. They were so vivid and so bright. And it's just because it was so dark that the light seemed so bright from these stars. I just wonder on that first Christmas, like how dark was the night when they saw that star shining? And I just wonder if perhaps it wasn't just the night sky that was dark, but perhaps the world was dark at that moment as well. Let me explain. You see, you have in the Bible, you have the Old Testament and the New Testament. And the Old Testament is where God's like speaking through the prophets and leading his people. But then there's this gap between the Old Testament and the New Testament. Bible scholars, they call it the 400 years of silence. There's no word from God. There's no prophet speaking. It's just quiet. Everybody's wondering, where is God? Where did he go? How come he's not saying anything? 400 years go by before anything else happens. Just wonder if you've been in a season like that maybe in your life. Perhaps you're in one now. When you showed up here, you just wonder, why is God so distant? Where is he? Maybe your world feels dark. You know what I noticed this year? Seemed like everyone was ready for Christmas earlier than ever. Like people were excited. I mean, we were talking about Christmas in October. I mean, some of you are like that all year long. I get that. But I mean, more of us were doing that. And it's like, well, the snow helped in November, right? But I just kept wondering, why is everybody so anxious for Christmas to get here? And then I realized this world has been so dark this year. When you think about the fires in California, you think about the flooding in Texas, think about the shooting in Vegas, the shooting at a church just a month ago. I mean, perhaps it even showed up in your own home, in your own family, and it got really close, that darkness. In fact, I have a friend that's got diagnosed with cancer this year, and it's not looking good. Got a call from someone else tonight. Say, hey, I just want to let you know when I walk in tonight, this is what I'm coming in with. My mom was just given 6 months. There's so much darkness. And I just wonder how dark it was for them on that night. Isn't it that we're so wanting Christmas to be here because we want something to look forward to? We want something to hope for. And isn't that just what Christmas is about? 400 years of silence, darkness. God, where are you? And then all of a sudden, in that darkest night, there was a star that was shining. A star shining because it was so dark, yet it seemed so bright. I believe that star was a sign for them. It was an invitation for them to begin the journey of understanding what Christmas was all about. I believe this, God puts signs, stars in our lives that keep pointing us in the direction of him. That God is constantly wanting to invite us in to follow him. In fact, I love that the wise men are a part of the Christmas story because honestly, they're outsiders. Here's what I mean by that. They weren't Jewish. They didn't grow up with all the studies and all the rules and all the church stuff. No, they had no idea what any of it was about. But yet God was inviting outsiders to the Christmas party. Here's what the Christmas story tells us. It tells us this, that Christmas is for everyone. Everyone's invited to Christmas. Everyone's invited. I hope you feel that tonight, that you're invited into the Christmas story. In fact, in some ways, you have some extremes. You have the wise men, who many believe were kings and royalty, and you also have what? They told us the story that you have the shepherds, the lowest of society at that time, being invited to the Christmas story at the same time. I just wonder, has perhaps God put a sign, put a star somewhere in your life that has led you to this moment here tonight? That perhaps it's no accident that you're here, that you got invited, that perhaps there was something else or whatever it was, but perhaps God's been at work to make sure you know that a big sign, a big star is Jesus saying this, I am here and I am here for you to be light even in this dark, dark world. You see, there's something about this star shining that caused the wise men to leave where they were, what they had been doing, all that was going on in their life, and they followed it. In fact, they followed the star all the way to Jerusalem. And when they get to Jerusalem, they go to the king because they assume that the king would know about the newborn king. And they ask him this question. They say, where is the newborn king of the Jews? We saw a star as it rose, and we have come to worship him. But here's what happens is King Herod, he's like, wait, I didn't have a son. What's going on here? So he's surprised. The wise men are probably surprised that he's surprised. Surprise. Just everyone's surprised. And then he calls on the religious leaders. They just read it to us. And he says, where was the newborn king of the Jews supposed to be born? And they're like, Bethlehem. And wouldn't you know it, that star is still leading them. It's shining over Bethlehem. It says, when they saw the star, they were filled with joy. The darkness in this world has a way of taking joy from us. And yet Christmas is God's answer to the darkness and pain and brokenness in this world. Christmas is God's answer to any pain, any brokenness, any suffering, any darkness that's in this world. Christmas is the answer. And we sometimes wonder, God, where are you? What are you doing? Here's what I believe. When anything bad happens to you or someone you loved, I believe God's heart breaks. I believe God's heart breaks. In fact, I just wonder, like sometimes we wonder, God, why don't you just get rid of all evil in the world? I mean, wouldn't you do that if you were God and had all power? Wouldn't you just get rid of all evil? The only problem with that is then he'd have to get rid of me. Perhaps he'd maybe have to get rid of you, because we're incredibly broken people, and as hard as we try, we still fall short. Well, sure, not as bad as some people. Well, something different happens when we begin to recognize our own brokenness and we stop comparing ourselves to others. Every time I choose to be selfish, I hurt others and I hurt myself. And yet, what's God's answer to that? It's Christmas. It's Jesus showing up in the world that he would take all of our pain, all of our brokenness, all of our sin upon himself. He would go to the cross for us. Not that he deserved it, no, we deserved it, but he took our place. Why? Because he loves us. And he wanted to announce, I am here for you, to do something about the pain and brokenness in this world. You see, the wise men, they follow this star, and the star has a point. It leads them to Jesus. It leads them to Jesus. That's why they have joy. So let's catch this last verse here. It says, when it was time to leave, they returned home to their own country by another route. They went home another way. Here's how I read that. They go home different. They go home different than when they showed up. And I wrote this down. Christmas changes the trajectory of your life. And here's why Christmas changes the trajectory of your life is Christmas is about grace. It's about God saying, here's a gift, something you don't deserve, but it's complete forgiveness, paid in full, not anything you have to earn, but here is grace. And when you receive that gift of grace, you receive God's forgiveness and you open it up, it's like I was heading this way in my life and all of a sudden now I'm actually able to head this way. I changed direction because I followed the star to Jesus, found his grace, and it's now changing my life. You see, you might say the wise men followed the star because they wanted things to change. But what ended up changing was them. You might say they wanted a different life, but what Jesus gave them instead was a different way to live. That's the power of grace in our lives, in our works. You see, the point is this, is anyone who encountered Jesus in the Bible leaves different than when they showed up. And the same thing continues to happen today. When people encounter Jesus, their lives are changed. Change for the good. It's Christmas every single day. I want to invite the band to come out. They're going to sing a song for us. I just love this song they're going to sing. But as they're coming out and getting ready, I want you to do something for me. I want you for a moment to put yourself in the Christmas story. I think a lot of us are familiar with it. The kids just read it to us. I've kind of recapped the wise men portion of it. But I want you to put yourself in the story. And perhaps you would say, okay, well, what part am I going to play? Well, can I just be clear? You don't get to be Jesus. Okay, at your house, you can be, okay? But we're not going to be Jesus tonight. Okay, Mary, Joseph, those parts have already been cast. Here's what's so interesting about the story of Christmas. We don't know the wise men's name. Like, we don't know, their names. And so I actually think the point of the authors leaving out that part of the story, their names, is for us to put ourselves in there, to actually put our names in there. So here's what I want you. I want you to be one of the wise men or wise women, okay? Put yourself on a segue if you have to get into this, okay? But here's what I want to ask you as you're putting yourself in the story. As you think about the journey the wise men took, where are you at in this journey? Like, where are you at in this journey that they took? Where would you put yourself? And you might say, well, tonight it's kind of like I'm seeing a star. Like for the first time, maybe I'm seeing a sign, and I'm just wondering if that's maybe God showing up. Here's what I want to encourage you to do. It is worth exploring. It's worth finding out where that's going to lead you. It's worth exploring. Now, you may say, well, actually, I'm kind of at like Herod's house. And I've got all these questions. All these questions spin around. They ask, where is Jesus? And you're saying maybe the same thing. Where is Jesus? Who is Jesus? Can I just say, don't be afraid of your questions. Ask them. In fact, the opposite of faith isn't doubt, it's certainty. Because when you're certain, you don't need faith. But when you have doubts, that's when you need faith. You have a chance for your faith to grow. Maybe in this journey, you would just say, I'm just in the darkness of night. It just seems like my life, my world is so dark in this season. And I've lost my joy. And actually what I need God to heal some of the brokenness and darkness in my life and give me my joy back again. Or perhaps you've made it all the way home, to the home where Jesus is. And maybe tonight you're coming home. And you would actually say, in this story, I've made it to Jesus, and what needs to happen is I need to go home different. I need to go home changed by his grace, because I've said yes to his forgiveness. I've received that gift of grace. So tonight the band's gonna sing a song, and there's a line in this song, and it says, come and see what God has done. As you listen to this song, I just want you to ponder, where am I at in this journey? And is perhaps God sending me a sign so that I'll keep on this journey and perhaps make it to where he wants me to be? Let's listen to this song together.